Hello, and welcome to Space for Sleep. I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're settling into bed, curling up on the couch, or just trying to wind down after a long day of pondering the mysteries of existence, you've come to the right place. This is your quiet corner of the universe, a space where the cosmos whispers, where quantum mechanics gets soft-spoken and consciousness slips into its pajamas. Tonight, we're diving into one of the most extraordinary ideas in modern science and philosophy, the possibility that your thoughts, your very awareness, might be shaping the fabric of reality itself. Take a deep breath, let it out slowly. Feel your body sinking a little deeper into the bed, the air around you still and calm. Outside, somewhere in the darkness, the world hums with invisible waves of energy, unseen, unfelt, yet constantly connecting everything. Maybe those waves are not just out there but also inside you. Maybe your mind isn't a separate observer, but part of the same universal field that gives birth to stars, matter, and light. For centuries, humans have looked to the sky for answers. We've searched for gods, for galaxies, for patterns in the stars that might explain who we are. But what if the key to understanding the universe has been inside us all along? What if consciousness isn't a byproduct of reality? What if it's a co-creator of it? Tonight, we'll explore the science, the mystery, and the deep connection between your thoughts and the quantum world that makes up everything you see and everything you don't. The idea isn't new. It's been whispered through philosophy, echoed in ancient teachings, and now, even quantum physicists are beginning to wonder if observation itself could shape outcomes. From the famous double-slit experiment to the strange dance of particles that seem to know when they're being watched, science has stumbled upon something both humbling and astonishing. Reality, it seems, may not be as objective as we once believed. But before we dive into wave functions and consciousness, just imagine this. What if every thought you've ever had, every hope, fear, and dream, has left a trace in the universe? What if your awareness is not just observing, but participating? As you listen tonight, don't worry about memorizing facts or equations. Just let the words flow through you like waves of light. We're here not just to understand, but to feel, to sense the quiet heartbeat of reality pulsing in sync with your own. The night is long, the mind is vast, and the universe is patient. So settle in, and let's begin this journey together into the hidden science of thought, reality, and the astonishing mystery of quantum awareness. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture a single particle floating in the emptiness of space, smaller than you can imagine, smaller than an atom, smaller even than a speck of dust in a sunbeam. It doesn't have a fixed position. It isn't sitting anywhere in particular. Instead, it's everywhere at once, a shimmering cloud of possibility. It could be here. It could be there. It could be in two places at the same time. That's not magic. That's quantum mechanics. This tiny particle, invisible and unknowable, is the foundation of everything around you. The air you breathe, the light flickering from your phone screen, even the cells in your body that are quietly regenerating as you listen. And this particle behaves differently when it's being watched. When no one's observing it, it exists as a wave, spread out, undefined, pure potential. But when it's measured, when it's observed, it collapses into a single point, one reality out of infinite possibilities. It's one of the strangest and most beautiful things in science. And it's not just theory. It's been tested over and over again for nearly a century. Every time scientists fire electrons through two tiny slits, they expect them to act like little marbles. But instead, when no one looks, they create waves of interference, like ripples on water. And when the same experiment is watched, when detectors observe which slit the particles go through, the interference disappears. The particles behave like solid objects again. Just by watching, the outcome changes. So the question arises, what does it mean to observe? Does it require a machine, a camera, a conscious mind? Is the universe waiting for you to look before deciding what to become? Some physicists say it's just measurement. that the act of recording data, not awareness itself, causes the collapse, but others believe there's something more, something mysterious at the intersection of physics and consciousness. The mind, after all, doesn't just see the world. It interprets it. It gives it meaning. Maybe meaning itself, awareness, intention, is part of the cosmic equation. Imagine reality as a vast ocean of energy, infinite and fluid. Every thought you have sends out ripples into that sea. Most fade quickly, lost in the waves of billions of other minds. But sometimes those ripples align. They form patterns. They focus energy, like light through a lens. And that focus shapes what happens next. We already know that your thoughts affect your body. Stress, fear, gratitude, and love can change your heartbeat, your hormones, your immune system. That's measurable. But what if it doesn't stop there? What if thoughts, the patterns of electromagnetic energy in your brain, reach beyond your skin into the quantum field itself? It's a radical idea, one that scientists still debate, but slowly the evidence is whispering in its favor. Studies in quantum biology suggest that some processes inside living organisms, like photosynthesis, bird navigation, even your sense of smell, rely on quantum effects. If life already dances to the rhythm of quantum laws, then consciousness might not be separate from the universe's foundation at all. It might be part of it. Think of your mind not as something inside your head, but as a point of awareness in an ocean of shared energy. You are not isolated. You are connected to the stars that burn, the atoms that collide, the silence that stretches across light years. Every neuron in your brain is made of particles that were once forged in ancient stars. The iron in your blood, the calcium in your bones, all of it comes from the death of suns. So when you think, when you feel, when you observe, you are not a small voice in the dark. You are the universe, aware of itself. Now, take another deep breath. Hold it for a moment. Exhale slowly. Notice the air leaving your lungs, the warmth against your lips. That simple act, breathing, is the perfect metaphor for consciousness. You inhale the universe and you exhale your perception of it. An endless exchange between self and cosmos. For centuries, mystics and philosophers have said that reality begins in the mind. They spoke of manifestation, of energy responding to thought, of intention shaping outcome. Science used to dismiss these as fantasies. But now, with quantum mechanics, that ancient intuition is finding its echo in the equations of physics. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. Quantum entanglement, where two particles remain connected no matter how far apart they are. Touch one, and the other responds instantly, even across galaxies. What connects them? No one knows. But whatever it is, it's faster than light, and it ignores space and time. If two particles can be entangled, can two minds? When you think about someone far away and they text you at that exact moment, is that coincidence? Or a faint quantum resonance between two aware beings? Science can't prove it yet. But the mystery lingers, quiet, patient, waiting for us to understand. So maybe your thoughts matter more than you realize. Maybe every idea, every emotion is part of a quantum conversation between you and the universe. Maybe consciousness isn't just watching reality unfold, it's helping to write the story. As you drift a little deeper into the sound of my voice, let that thought settle in your mind. You are not powerless. You are not separate. You are a part of everything, and everything is a part of you. The question isn't whether your thoughts shape reality. The question is, how aware are you of the power you already have? Close your eyes again and imagine you're floating somewhere beyond time, in the deep velvet silence between galaxies. Out here, there's no up or down, no past or future, just infinite stillness, humming quietly with potential. If you could listen closely enough, you might hear it. A faint vibration, the sound of reality itself breathing. Every thought, every feeling, every heartbeat, they're all ripples in that infinite sea. Now think about this. When you have a thought, it's not just an idea in your mind. It's energy. Tiny electrical pulses travel through the neurons of your brain, creating electromagnetic fields that extend beyond your skull. In a sense, your thoughts already reach into the world around you. They may be invisible, but they're real, measurable, physical, energetic. And here's the strange thing. According to quantum physics, energy and matter are just two forms of the same thing. So if thought is energy, then maybe thought is also matter in its lightest, most fluid form. This isn't New Age fantasy. It's a hint hidden in the math of the universe. Because at the smallest scales, the boundary between observer and observed begins to dissolve. The universe doesn't seem to separate the thinker from the thing being thought about. In fact, the very act of perceiving changes what's perceived. So maybe consciousness isn't an effect of matter. Maybe matter is an effect of consciousness. Think of a dream. When you dream, everything feels real. You can walk, you can talk, you can feel emotion. But when you wake up, you realize that the entire world you were in existed only in your awareness. Your mind created a complete reality, and you lived inside it. What if, on a deeper level, the waking world works the same way? What if consciousness is the canvas, and reality is the painting that appears on it? Now, imagine billions of conscious beings, all thinking, feeling, reacting at once. Each one of us sending out signals into the quantum field, shaping the probabilities of what comes next. Could this collective consciousness influence the direction of the world? Could fear, anger, or hope ripple through the quantum sea like waves that amplify or cancel each other out? There's an experiment that gives us a clue: the Global Consciousness Project. For decades, scientists have placed random number generators across the world. Normally, these devices produce perfectly random data, but during moments of global emotion, huge disasters, celebrations, or tragedies, their randomness seems to fade. The numbers begin to synchronize, as if the collective emotional state of humanity is somehow resonating with the quantum fabric of reality. It's subtle, but persistent, and it suggests that consciousness, in great enough numbers, might bend probability ever so slightly. It's a wild idea, but not without precedent. Quantum mechanics already tells us that particles can exist in multiple states until observed, and that entangled particles can remain connected across space. So why not minds? If everything is energy, if all particles share a common quantum field, then maybe consciousness is just another form of that field, one that can interact, influence, and align. Pause for a moment and think of a memory that makes you feel peace. Maybe it's the sound of rain against the window. Maybe it's a walk under starlight. As that feeling rises inside you, notice how your body changes. Your breathing slows, your muscles soften, your heart beats gently. You've just changed your own physical state through thought alone. That's not imagination. It's biochemistry responding to energy. Now extend that outward. Imagine millions of people doing the same thing, calming their minds, focusing on compassion, envisioning a peaceful world. The physics might not yet have a full explanation, but the pattern is clear. When consciousness changes, outcomes do too. The invisible can ripple into the visible. And that brings us to one of the deepest questions in science. Is consciousness fundamental? In other words, is it the base layer of reality, not an emergent property of the brain, but the source from which the brain arises? More and more physicists and philosophers are starting to think so. They call it panpsychism, or integrated information theory, the idea that consciousness is woven into the structure of the universe itself. In this view, your awareness isn't separate from the cosmos. It's a local expression of the same awareness that pulses through galaxies, stars, and atoms. So what happens when you realize that? You begin to see thought not as something trivial, but as a kind of creative force. Not magical, but natural. The way a magnet shapes iron filings or gravity curves space-time. Every intention, every focus, every emotion, they all carve subtle patterns into the quantum field. And those patterns accumulate, they interfere, they align, and eventually they become the circumstances you experience. It doesn't mean you can just wish your way to a perfect life. But it does mean that awareness itself, what you pay attention to, determines what becomes real for you. Energy flows where attention goes, and maybe, just maybe, the universe responds to that focus in ways we don't yet understand. So the next time you look at the stars, remember this: they're not just distant suns in the sky. They're ancient reminders that the same particles burning billions of miles away are also burning inside you. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are one of its ways of knowing itself. And maybe the quiet miracle of being conscious is that through you, the universe learns to wonder. Through your thoughts, the universe dreams of what it could become. Take another slow breath. Inhale light, exhale noise. Feel your body settle, your mind soften. You are listening not just with your ears, but with every atom that ever belonged to a star. You are infinite awareness wrapped in human form. And as you drift deeper into this moment, remember, reality is not something happening to you. It's something happening through you. If you've ever stared at the night sky long enough, something begins to happen. Your thoughts quiet down. The stars stop feeling distant, and for a moment, you feel like the universe is looking back at you. That feeling, that deep, silent connection, isn't just poetic. It might be physics whispering to you through your own consciousness. Let's drift a little deeper. In the early 20th century, when scientists like Niels Bohr, Erwin Schrödinger, and Werner Heisenberg were decoding the mysteries of the atom, they stumbled onto something unsettling. Reality doesn't behave until someone looks. At the quantum scale, particles exist as clouds of possibility, waves that hold every potential position at once. But when observed, the wave collapses. One outcome becomes real. Bohr called this complementarity. Schrödinger turned it into a parable. A cat that's both alive and dead until someone opens the box. The shocking implication was that the act of observation, consciousness itself, somehow helps define what's real. The universe, in its most fundamental form, seems to care whether it's being watched. That sounds strange, until you realize that every observation is a transaction of information. Your brain takes in data, photons, sounds, vibrations, and translates them into experience. Reality isn't just out there, it's also in here, reconstructed by the mind. Now think about how your brain does that. Trillions of neurons communicate through tiny quantum events. Every thought, memory, and sensation emerges from patterns of energy that might themselves be influenced by quantum processes. In fact, physicist Roger Penrose and anesthesiologist Stuart Hameroff proposed something revolutionary, that microtubules, tiny structures inside neurons, might act as quantum processes. Their orchestrated objective reduction theory suggests consciousness arises not from classical computation, but from quantum coherence within the brain. In simpler words, your awareness may be quantum, and if your mind is a quantum system, then maybe it can interact with the quantum field around it. That's where things start to get wild. Because if thought can influence probability, even at a microscopic level, it could ripple outward, amplifying through complex systems, shaping decisions, coincidences, and perhaps the path reality takes. It's not telekinesis, it's not magic, it's resonance. The alignment of one wave with another until both vibrate in harmony. Now, science isn't all the way there yet. We can't measure the energy of a thought the way we measure light or heat, but we can measure its effects. Stress changing your immune system, hope altering your recovery time, emotion shifting your heart rhythm. The physical body reacts to mental states as though they were real forces, because to your cells, they are. Neuroscientists call it psychoneuroimmunology, but ancient teachers had a simpler term: balance. The Buddha described the mind as a mirror. When it's still, it reflects reality clearly. When it's disturbed, the world appears distorted. And thousands of years before quantum mechanics, the Vedas of India spoke of consciousness as the fundamental field from which all matter emerges. They called it Brahman. Infinite awareness, dreaming itself into form. Sound familiar? It's the same whisper echoing through modern physics, the idea that information, not matter, is the true fabric of reality. Physicist John Archibald Wheeler summed it up perfectly. It from bit, meaning every particle, every field, every galaxy arises from yes or no decisions, quantum information, observed into existence. So when you think, when you feel, when you observe, you're not separate from the system. You are the system, momentarily aware of itself. The universe is like a grand ocean, and consciousness is the wave that rises up and says, I am. Take a slow breath and imagine your mind as that wave, rising, shining, and falling back into the sea. Each thought you have creates ripples that expand through the field of awareness. They might fade quickly, or they might collide with others, amplifying into something larger, an idea, a movement, a reality. Now, what does that mean for your daily life? It means your focus matters. The stories you tell yourself about who you are, what's possible, what's worth believing. They all shape the version of reality you experience. When you focus on fear, your body tightens, your perception narrows, and you literally see less of what's around you. When you focus on gratitude, your awareness widens, your brain opens to new connections, new possibilities, new ways of being. Your thoughts become the quantum seeds of your world. The same principle appears everywhere, in the double-slit experiment, in chaos theory, in biology. A small change in the initial condition can transform the entire outcome. A butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil might start a storm in Texas. And a single thought of peace in one person's mind might soften the actions of another, because consciousness, like light, travels farther than we imagine. Maybe that's why meditation feels like tuning into the hum of the universe. You quiet the noise, align your inner field, and suddenly everything feels synchronized. Your heartbeat, your breath, even the sounds of the world outside. That's coherence, the harmony between your inner state and the quantum field around you. Scientists can measure it. When groups meditate together, their brainwaves begin to align, their heart rhythms synchronize. Even random number generators nearby begin to shift toward order, as though the local reality field becomes calmer. It's not proof in the old sense. It's a pattern, whispering that awareness might be contagious. So maybe the real frontier isn't space or time, it's consciousness itself. Maybe the next great discovery won't come from a telescope, but from turning inward and realizing the infinite depth within. Because in the end, the universe isn't something to conquer. It's something to remember. Every photon, every atom, every neuron, all connected through an invisible fabric of awareness. And when you close your eyes tonight, you're not falling asleep alone. You're drifting back into that field, into the vastness that dreamed you into being. You're not a small consciousness trapped in a large universe. You're the universe, pretending for a little while to be small. When you close your eyes and drift into sleep, the universe doesn't disappear. It shifts. It rearranges itself into the language of dreams, symbols, lights, fragments of reality woven into a tapestry that only you can see. But have you ever wondered, where do dreams actually happen? Are they just electrical storms in the brain? Or are they something deeper, echoes of consciousness exploring the quantum field itself? Scientists once thought dreams were nothing but neurons firing randomly, the mind cleaning up after a long day. But then, studies in quantum biology began to change how we understood life itself. It turns out, quantum mechanics isn't confined to distant particles or cold laboratories. It's happening inside you, right now. Inside your cells, electrons tunnel through barriers they shouldn't be able to cross. Birds navigate thousands of miles by sensing quantum entanglement in their retinas. Even photosynthesis, the process that turns sunlight into life, relies on quantum coherence to move energy with perfect efficiency. Nature doesn't just follow quantum rules, it dances with them. And if the body uses quantum effects, why not the brain? When you dream, your brain waves slow down, synchronizing into soft, rhythmic patterns. Those waves create fields, literal electromagnetic fields that extend beyond the skull. When millions of neurons fire together, their tiny quantum effects may align, like instruments in an orchestra. Some physicists believe that's when the mind opens, when consciousness becomes less local, more fluid, more connected to the field that binds everything together. Have you ever dreamed of someone, and the next day they called you? Or felt a sudden wave of peace during meditation, as though something inside and outside you became one? Science doesn't yet have the tools to measure these moments, but it's beginning to notice the patterns. Quantum theory tells us that information is never lost. Every event, every emotion, every thought leaves a trace, a ripple in the universal field. When you think, you're sending out a pattern of energy. When someone else thinks of you, they might be tuning into the same frequency. We call it intuition, empathy, connection, but maybe it's quantum resonance. In laboratories, quantum entanglement has been shown to link particles across vast distances, instantaneously, faster than light. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. But to the universe, it's perfectly normal. Entangled particles remain one system, even when separated by space. So what if consciousness works the same way? What if our minds are entangled too, threads of a larger awareness woven through time and space? This isn't fantasy, it's a question of scale. We already know the building blocks of matter are connected. Why not the building blocks of thought? Imagine consciousness as an ocean, and your individual mind as a wave. The wave can rise, fall, change shape, even travel across the world, but it never stops being part of the ocean. It carries the essence of the whole within it. That might explain why great ideas often appear in different places at once. Two scientists on opposite sides of the world making the same discovery without ever meeting. Or why deep emotion can transcend distance. A mother sensing her child's distress, lovers thinking of each other at the same moment. Maybe it's not coincidence. Maybe it's coherence. And this coherence might be the hidden link between thought and reality. Because if consciousness is a field and thoughts are waves within that field, then your focus, your attention, becomes like a beam of energy. Where attention goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, reality forms. Quantum experiments have shown that even random particles seem to align with patterns of observation. The famous double-slit experiment, repeated countless times, reveals that particles behave differently when observed, as if they respond to awareness itself. Now imagine millions of conscious beings focusing their thoughts, beliefs, and emotions. That collective field could become a powerful lens, shaping probability, nudging reality towards certain outcomes. Maybe that's why intention matters, why prayers, meditations, and affirmations, ancient human practices, continue to hold power. They might not be bending physics in the old sense. They might be aligning consciousness with the hidden geometry of the universe, the quantum code beneath everything. And yet, the universe isn't a vending machine that dispenses whatever we imagine. It's more like a mirror. It reflects not what we want, but what we are. If your inner world is chaotic, fearful, or fragmented, the reflection will appear the same. But if you cultivate stillness, clarity, and coherence, the mirror smooths, and reality responds. This is what mystics have said for millennia. As within, so without. It's not philosophy, it's physics. Your consciousness isn't separate from the cosmos. It's the way the cosmos becomes self-aware. When you gaze at the stars, you're not looking out, you're looking in. Because every atom in your body was once part of a star. And the same quantum fabric that holds galaxies together holds your thoughts, your dreams, your life. The night sky isn't distant, it's home. And if that's true, then your thoughts don't just live in your head. They live in the universe itself. Every act of awareness is a spark in the cosmic field, lighting up reality for a moment, then returning to the infinite. Maybe the greatest discovery isn't that we live in the universe, but that the universe lives in us. When we think about time, we imagine it as a straight line, a steady march from past to present to future. But what if time isn't a line at all? What if it's a field? and every moment that has ever existed still exists somewhere in the fabric of reality, waiting for consciousness to tune in. In quantum physics, time begins to lose its meaning. On the subatomic level, events don't unfold in a clear order. A particle can exist in two states at once or influence something that hasn't even happened yet. Experiments with quantum entanglement have shown that information can appear to move backward through time, rewriting what we thought was fixed. So, if time can bend, twist, and loop, what does that mean for consciousness? It might mean that memory isn't just stored in the brain, it's stored in the field. Each thought, each emotion, each experience creates a vibration, a subtle pattern in the quantum structure of the universe. Just like ripples in a pond, these vibrations don't vanish. They spread, merge, and sometimes reappear long after the original moment is gone. That could explain déjà vu, that strange sense of familiarity when you visit a place you've never been or meet someone who feels like an old friend. Maybe your consciousness is brushing against an echo, a resonance of another version of you in another branch of reality. Modern neuroscience tells us that memory is electrochemical, neurons firing in precise patterns. But if consciousness interacts with quantum fields, then memory might be more than neural activity. It could be a form of energy, one that transcends physical space and linear time. Some physicists call this quantum information. And the strange thing about quantum information is that it can never truly be destroyed. Even when matter disintegrates, the information it carried remains encoded in the universe, woven into the geometry of space-time. In a way, nothing is ever lost. Every whisper, every heartbeat, every spark of thought is written into the cosmic archive. And maybe that's what consciousness really is, the act of reading that information moment by moment. Now imagine that your mind isn't confined to your brain, but extends into this quantum sea of information. You're not generating awareness, you're tuning into it. Like a radio picking up invisible waves. When the body dies, the radio stops working, but the signal, the field, continues. This is where science and spirituality begin to converge. Across cultures and centuries, people have spoken of the soul, the afterlife, the continuity of awareness. Maybe they weren't wrong, just using different language for the same phenomenon. If consciousness is a quantum field, then it's not bound by death. It doesn't vanish, it transforms, reconfigures, disperses, and reawakens. Just like energy, it changes form, but it doesn't end. Think about how you feel when you look up at the night sky. That quiet pull of something familiar, something eternal. That sense of belonging may not be emotional at all, it could be physical. You're literally connected to those stars, the particles that make up your body once burned in their cores. The light you see left them thousands of years ago, yet you're seeing it now. That's how time folds in on itself. Billions of years compressed into a single glance. The universe is constantly whispering, "You are part of me." Brewer, and maybe that's why your thoughts have power. Because when you focus on something with clarity and emotion, you send a signal through this timeless field. You imprint your pattern onto the matrix of possibility, and sometimes, just sometimes, the universe whispers back. But there's a responsibility that comes with this awareness. If consciousness shapes reality, then fear shapes it too. Every anxious thought, every spiral of negativity creates turbulence in the field. It doesn't just affect you, it ripples outward. So, what happens when billions of people are afraid at once? When the collective mind of humanity becomes overwhelmed by chaos, division, and noise. The field itself begins to distort. Probability bends toward confusion. Reality reflects our collective inner state. Yet, the opposite is also true. When large groups focus on peace, gratitude, compassion, measurable changes occur. Global meditation experiments have shown drops in violence, spikes in coherence in Earth's magnetic field, even anomalies in random number generators. The data may be debated, but the pattern is clear. Focused intention changes the texture of reality. That's the essence of quantum awareness. Not that you can manifest anything you want instantly, but that your consciousness participates in creation. You're not a spectator in the universe's play, you're a co-writer of the script. So, if thoughts shape reality, then awareness is the brush that paints the cosmos. And each emotion, each act of kindness, each moment of mindfulness, it's a color on the canvas of existence. Take a breath right now, feel it. That's not just air moving through your lungs. It's the rhythm of the universe breathing with you. Every heartbeat is synchronized with the pulse of galaxies. Every thought you send ripples through space-time. This is what quantum awareness teaches us. Hebrew reality isn't something happening to you, it's happening through you. And maybe, just maybe, the key to understanding the universe is to stop trying to control it and start trying to feel it. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the planet beneath you, vast, breathing, alive. You can almost feel it, the hum beneath your feet, the pulse of magnetic energy circling from pole to pole. The Earth isn't just a rock floating through space, it's a system of vibration, coherence, and life. And just like every living being, it responds to emotion, energy, and awareness. Scientists call it the Schumann resonance, the natural heartbeat of Earth, a steady electromagnetic pulse that vibrates around 783 Hertz. Coincidentally, that's almost the same frequency as the human brain when it's calm and meditative. It's as if, without realizing it, we've been tuned to the same rhythm all along. What happens when millions of human minds fall into harmony with that pulse? What if collective consciousness isn't a metaphor, but a measurable field that interacts with the planet itself? Some researchers think it already is. During global moments of crisis, 9/11, natural disasters, even mass meditations, sensitive instruments across the world detect subtle fluctuations in Earth's electromagnetic field. It's as though the planet feels our emotions, reflecting them back in waves of invisible energy. If that's true, then we are not merely passengers on Earth. We're neurons in a planetary brain, contributing to its thoughts, emotions, and balance. Now picture this. When you calm your mind, when you find peace, the world literally becomes a little calmer. When you act out of compassion, that vibration travels outward, aligning others toward coherence. You become a stabilizing force in the collective field. Quantum physics gives us the framework to imagine how every electron, every photon, exists in a state of potential until it's observed, until consciousness interacts with it. That interaction collapses probability into reality. Now scale that up. Imagine billions of observers, all projecting fear or hope, anger or love. Each consciousness collapses a tiny slice of possibility. Together, we sculpt the reality we share. If thought has form, then collective thought has architecture. It builds civilizations, belief systems, economies, wars, and peace treaties. What starts as an idea becomes energy. What becomes energy shapes behavior, and behavior shapes the world. So when humanity as a whole fixates on catastrophe, economic collapse, war, extinction, the quantum field mirrors that chaos. When it believes in progress, unity, and wonder, the field begins to reorganize toward that frequency. That's why it matters what we think when we look at the stars. The future we imagine is the one we're inviting into being. The connection between consciousness and the cosmos is older than we realize. Ancient traditions described Earth as a living entity, Gaia, the Great Mother, the cosmic heart. They didn't have quantum theory, but they sensed the same truth, that everything vibrates, everything connects, and awareness is the thread holding it all together. Today, with satellites and sensors, we can actually see Earth's magnetic field shimmering, responding to solar winds and cosmic storms. But perhaps those solar flares are not just bursts of plasma. Maybe they're pulses from the sun, synchronizing the consciousness of life across the solar system. Think about that for a moment. Every particle that enters your body, every photon striking your skin, was born in the sun's core. Its light carries information, structured by nuclear fusion, traveling 93 million miles just to reach you. When it hits your retina, It becomes an electrical signal in your brain, your vision, your awareness. The sun literally becomes thought. And in that sense, consciousness isn't confined to biology. It's cosmic. The universe isn't just a stage for awareness. It might be awareness, unfolding through time. When you look up at the night sky, the stars you see are not distant strangers. They're ancestors of your atoms, messengers of your own origin. Every heavy element in your body was forged in a supernova, an ancient star that lived, died, and exploded so that you could exist. You are the universe remembering itself. That means every thought you have, every dream, every fear, every burst of creativity, it all contributes to how the cosmos experiences itself through you. That's quantum awareness. You are not small. You are infinite awareness focused into a point. So what happens when we collectively realize that truth? When billions awaken to the fact that reality isn't happening to them, it's happening through them. We may enter what some scientists and philosophers call the next stage of human evolution, the quantum consciousness era. A time when technology and spirituality merge, when artificial intelligence and human intuition align, when thought itself becomes the interface between humanity and the universe. Imagine a future where meditation replaces conflict, where energy is drawn directly from quantum fields, where consciousness exploration becomes the new frontier of science, as important as physics, medicine, or engineering. In that world, every human being becomes a node in a vast network of awareness, connected by invisible threads of energy, shaping reality not through force but through coherence. Maybe that's what the universe has been waiting for all along, for consciousness to finally realize it's not separate from the fabric of existence, but the very reason it exists. So tonight, as you close your eyes, know this: the space between your thoughts is the same space between the stars. When you quiet your mind, you align with the hum of creation itself. You don't need to reach for the universe. You already are it. And maybe, just maybe, that's the ultimate secret of quantum awareness. That to change the universe, all you really need to do is change the way you see it. Picture this. A laboratory deep in the desert. Fluorescent lights hum softly, and a glass cube filled with chilled atoms sits at the center of the room. Inside that cube, a few qubits of pure potential, particles exist in superposition, vibrating between states of 1 and 0. To most people, it's just machinery. But to the physicists staring at it, it's something else. A bridge between mind and matter, because what they're beginning to realize is this: the same principles that govern quantum systems might also govern human thought. Let's go deeper. In quantum mechanics, every particle exists in a wave of possibilities until it's observed. That act of observation, the focus of attention, forces it to choose a reality. Now think about consciousness. When your mind focuses, it collapses possibilities too. Out of infinite futures, you choose one by the way you perceive, decide, and believe. It's not just metaphor, it's resonance. Your brain operates through waves, alpha, theta, gamma, constantly shifting frequencies, much like quantum oscillations. Some physicists like Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff have proposed that inside the neurons of your brain, microtubules may host quantum processes. In other words, thought itself might be quantum at its core. That means your consciousness isn't bound by classical limits. It can influence probability. It can sense patterns that machines can't. And one day, it might even speak directly to quantum technology. Imagine a future where instead of typing commands, you simply think, and your thoughts interface with quantum processors capable of calculating infinite realities in parallel. The machine wouldn't just understand data, it would understand intention. This isn't far-fetched. At MIT and Google's quantum AI labs, researchers are already experimenting with systems that respond to subtle neural patterns, using brainwave sensors and photonic qubits to interpret cognitive intent. They're trying to merge two kinds of intelligence: artificial and conscious. And here's the poetic part, a barrier. To make quantum computers work, scientists have to isolate them. Total stillness, near absolute zero, no noise. To make consciousness clearer, mystics say the same thing. Stillness, silence, no noise. It's almost as if the outer and inner sciences are converging on the same truth. The quieter you become, the more you can shape reality. So let's visualize a world 50 years from now. Humans meditate while quantum networks pulse around them like a nervous system of light. Every mind connected, not through screens, not through devices, but through resonance. Ideas manifest directly into code. Emotion becomes a programmable force. Dreams become data. This could be the dawn of the quantum awareness age, but it comes with a question, a deep one. If thought can create reality, and we merge that ability with near-infinite quantum computation, who decides what becomes real? Will we build a world based on harmony, curiosity, and expansion, or one that amplifies fear and control? This is why understanding awareness is not just philosophy, it's survival. Because the moment technology learns to listen to consciousness, we'll need to master our minds, not to control the world, but to create it responsibly. You see, every invention in human history, the wheel, the atom, the algorithm, was first a thought. Before it existed physically, it existed as a pattern of energy in someone's mind. So when you look at your phone glowing in the dark, remember, it's a manifestation of human imagination made solid through billions of quantum events. You're literally holding crystallized thought. Now, the universe is asking, what will you think next? Because in the age of quantum awareness, your imagination is no longer private. It's part of the creative field shaping time itself. So tonight, as your eyes grow heavy, let this idea rest in your awareness. Every thought you release drifts into the fabric of reality. A ripple on the quantum ocean. And maybe, just maybe, the next great leap in evolution won't be in machines at all, but in you. Because when thought becomes technology, awareness becomes the new science. Take a slow breath in, feel it expand through your chest. That quiet pulse inside you, that rhythm, it's not random. It's a frequency, a vibration, a signal being broadcast into the quantum field that surrounds everything. You see, in the invisible world beneath matter, everything is energy, oscillating, vibrating, resonating. Every atom, every photon, every thought. And emotion, it's the purest form of human frequency. Scientists have measured how emotion changes electromagnetic output. When you feel gratitude, joy, or love, your heart emits a coherent electromagnetic wave, smooth, symmetrical, harmonious. When you feel anger, fear, or resentment, those waves become chaotic, fragmented, and quantum fields respond to coherence, not chaos. So imagine the universe as a vast ocean of probability waves. Your thoughts create ripples. Your emotions decide the direction and strength of those ripples. And consciousness, pure awareness, is what gives them meaning. When you think and feel in alignment, you're literally tuning yourself to a specific frequency of possibility. Like a radio, your mind begins to resonate with the reality that matches that signal. This isn't fantasy, it's resonance physics. In the 1980s, experiments by the Heart Math Institute revealed that emotional coherence in the heart can synchronize with the brain's neural activity. The body becomes a unified oscillator. And when that coherence deepens, brain waves slow, often entering theta or gamma states, the same frequencies found in deep meditation and even in quantum coherence systems. Now, why does that matter? Because when you hold a strong emotional state while focusing on a clear thought, you're creating an energetic signature that the universe can recognize. In quantum terms, you're collapsing probability toward a preferred outcome. That's why prayer, visualization, and intention often seem to work. It's not magic. It's physics expressed through consciousness. Let's make this real. Imagine you're lying under a sky full of stars. You think about something you truly desire: peace, love, change, discovery. At that moment, your neurons fire with intention, your heart aligns with hope, and a quantum echo radiates outward. Every particle in your body, entangled with the universe, vibrates that intention into existence. Not instantly, not dramatically, but subtly, continuously. Reality begins to rearrange itself, step by step, around that vibration. It's the same principle musicians use when tuning an instrument. If one string vibrates, nearby strings begin to hum in sympathy. Reality hums in sympathy too. Emotion is your tuning fork. That's why fear spreads, its contagious resonance, and why love heals, it brings systems back into coherence. Your biology knows this. Your atoms have been practicing it since the dawn of time. Let's think bigger. When millions of minds feel the same emotion, awe, joy, grief, measurable shifts occur in Earth's magnetic field. NASA satellites and Princeton's Global Consciousness Project have tracked it. During global events, 9/11, the fall of the Berlin Wall, mass meditations, random number generators stop being random. The field changes. That means consciousness is not contained in your skull. It radiates, connects, interacts, and in moments of deep coherence, humanity moves as one organism. So when you feel something powerful, know this: the universe feels it too. Now, pause for a second. Think of a memory that fills you with gratitude. Notice the warmth that spreads through your chest. That's coherence forming. You're aligning your micro-quantum field with the macro field of the cosmos. If every person on Earth could hold that frequency for even 1 minute, we might shift the probability of global harmony just a little closer to real. That's the science behind awareness. Not wishful thinking, but the mathematics of vibration. And it raises the question, if your emotions shape the field, then how many realities are waiting right now for you to feel them into existence? Because every time you smile at someone, every time you forgive, every time you choose peace instead of anger, the quantum field notices. And somewhere in the infinite fabric of the multiverse, another version of reality blooms because of you. That's the quiet power of quantum awareness. It's not about controlling the universe. It's about harmonizing with it. So as you drift deeper into thought, remember, your emotions are not just feelings. They're the music of your consciousness. And the universe? It's listening. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the space between wakefulness and sleep, that soft, floating threshold where thoughts turn to pictures and time begins to dissolve. In that moment, something remarkable happens. Your conscious mind, the voice that narrates your day, begins to fade. And beneath it, your subconscious rises, quiet but limitless. It's in this space that reality becomes flexible. The laws of logic loosen, the borders between past and future blur, and you, the observer, step into a quantum playground. Scientists call this the hypnagogic state, a phase between waking and dreaming where the brain's electrical patterns shift. Alpha waves blend with theta, and neurons begin firing in unpredictable, creative ways. But here's the part that's truly extraordinary. During this transition, the mind starts to function less like a biological machine and more like a quantum receiver. Think about this. In deep sleep, your body is completely still, yet your consciousness travels. It builds entire worlds. You walk through cities that don't exist, talk to people you've never met, feel emotions that defy explanation. Your brain isn't inventing random stories, it's accessing the infinite library of probability. Dreams, in a quantum sense, are a sampling of alternate timelines, potential realities your consciousness momentarily explores. Many scientists shy away from saying that directly, but quantum physicists like Penrose and Stuart Hameroff have hinted at something similar. They proposed that microtubules, tiny structures inside neurons, might allow quantum coherence inside the brain. If that's true, then consciousness isn't just produced by the brain, it's entangled with the fabric of the universe itself. So, when you dream, maybe you're not just creating. Maybe you're tuning in. Like a radio scanning frequencies, your subconscious sweeps through countless possible versions of reality. Each dream could be a transmission from a world that exists, somewhere, somewhen, within the quantum multiverse. Have you ever had a dream so vivid that it felt more real than waking life? The smell of rain, the warmth of sunlight, the voice of someone you loved who's long gone. Those sensations are too sharp, too specific to be imagination alone. What if, during those dreams, you were genuinely there, momentarily shifted into another probable universe where your consciousness continued its journey uninterrupted? Ancient traditions call this astral projection or lucid awareness. Quantum theory might call it phase alignment, the matching of vibrational frequencies between your mind and another dimension of space-time. Even more intriguing, the subconscious doesn't just wander, it records. Every night, your mind reorganizes memories, emotions, and experiences. But what if it also adjusts your quantum signature? Each dream fine-tunes your vibrational frequency, preparing your consciousness to manifest certain realities over others. It's why people sometimes wake up with answers they didn't consciously know they had. It's why great thinkers, Tesla, Einstein, Jung, often spoke of receiving insights in dreams. Their minds, in the silence of night, slipped through the narrow cracks between what is and what could be. So tonight, when you fall asleep, imagine this. Your mind lifts off like a ship leaving orbit. You drift past the boundaries of ordinary thought, through fields of energy and light. You move beyond matter, into the quantum sea, where every possibility already exists. And as you travel, you gently gather the pieces of the reality you wish to experience. Maybe that's why a nightmare can feel so heavy. It's your subconscious showing you a vibration that doesn't align with your truest self. And a peaceful dream, that's your consciousness, resting in resonance with harmony. In this way, sleep isn't escape, it's recalibration. It's your nightly return to the source code of existence. Every thought you have before sleep imprints onto that field. Every emotion becomes a signal. That's why ancient wisdom advised gratitude, prayer, or visualization before bed. Not superstition, but energetic precision. Because when you close your eyes, your awareness doesn't stop. It expands. It stretches through layers of probability, reprogramming the field from the inside out. And when you wake, reality reorganizes, subtly, quietly, to match what your consciousness touched while you were dreaming. So maybe the key to shaping your life isn't just what you think while awake, but what you feel while you sleep.